Three, two, one, and we are live.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Oh, and here we are. We're back, but without
Hello, everybody.
Mr. David. Right there, Mr. David.
David is spiritually with us
David.
always.
David's with us in spirit today.
But he may
David,
come,
yeah.
right?
He may breathe heavy. We're not sure.
Okay.
But before we get into the show, the topic today is overthinking. So we're not going to overthink why David isn't here.
No, because, I was thinking, what topic should I was thinking and say, You think too much. That's the topic.
Overthinking. I agree. It's a good topic. And before we start, we want to thank our sponsor from SoundPeats. SoundPeats has this great headset called Space. It works wonderfully. And as I say, I would love to show this to everybody, but my family keeps stealing it from me. I put it in my office before we do the show the night before. And then between the movies and the music, I come into my office in the morning.
That happens when quality things.
Yeah, I'm searching the house for it. So somewhere in the house is it, and it works wonderfully. I've used it on phone calls. I think it works better than Bose and Beats. I'm a big fan. So shout out to them. We'll run their commercial. Their link is below if you want to check it out. I know they're having a big sale because of Amazon Prime Days. And after we pay this bill, we'll start the show. SoundPeats Space. Hybrid active noise cancellation headphones. Wireless Bluetooth. 123 hours of playtime. High-res audio. The best headphones out there. And there you go. I like that. It's a cute little commercial for them. We made that for them.
Yeah, that's a retro one, but it's you need. I couldn't hear you very well because the music was too loud a little.
Well, that's
but it was David. Very nice.
We blame that all on David. That the music's too loud.
When he comes,
David. Here's David.
Oh,
now we're going to blame it on David.
Look,
so there he is. Hey, we're talking about overthinking.
Yeah, it's telepathy thing because we're just talking about you, about putting the blame on you.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Well, let's just start by saying that if you schedule a show to start at 2:45 in the afternoon, then we're starting it earlier and bitching to me about not being on time.
So first of all,
you're just in time.
It's just too much overthinking from your side.
Right, there you go. And part of the other problem is that you know me. So even if the show says it starts at 45 minutes to the hour, we're starting 20 minutes early. So if you show up on time, you're already late. Yeah.
He came exactly on time because after the commercial,
after the commercial. You did. Congratulations. Look at you coming after the commercial. You didn't have to overthink that.
Oh, I didn't overthink anything. But
first of all,
I would like you to consider.
Yes, sir.
Not to overthink, but to consider that if you're going to jump on this show early every week, just change it in the diary until 14:30 years CET, so that we know where.
I'm going to do that. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'll do that right now, so we don't have any more problems. Because God forbid that we have a problem with our David, that we have a...
Oh, no,
it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just I have alarms about things that I have to do during the day. So I knew I was on time for this one, but obviously...
Okay. All right. So here we go. Just so you
David,
know, we changed it in the diary, David. So now you have no more excuses for being late.
What you were overthinking about? The elections in the UK or in France or what?
What are you overthinking about today, big guy?
No, too much. Yeah, personal stuff.
Okay.
So.
But you were overthinking, right?
I'm trying not to because I will have that. We've decided, my partner and I, not to overthink stuff because we're just getting sucked into this emotional black hole, which we don't want to be in.
And the black hole.
So wait a minute. So overthinking for you is an emotional black hole.
No, that's a consequence.
Yeah, that can be. Yeah, and it and I end up getting really have very blue moments and blue days that which are not a consequence of anything that I'm doing in my life, but consequences of other people's lives that flood into mine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, other people
That's
have an influence in our life for sure.
Yeah, and so in order to not to get involved in this enormous swimming pool full of poo, then just to step back from it and not to overthink it. Take each day as it comes, and that's it.
And we have to give a big shout out to one of our fans that we're not overthinking. Dawn Shares, once again. Our biggest fan watching the shows. She says good morning to everybody, so we say good morning to Dawn.
We need to compensate though somehow.
No, we don't. We can give her something. We have merch.
We celebrate Dawn every day.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, look at you.
We overthink about Dawn, maybe.
We overthink about Dawn. There you go. Dawn's all excited now. She's been mentioned 27 times. So there you go. So overthinking is very interesting. When you sent that to me last night, I was like, what do I overthink? I overthink. Yeah. I play the what if game or the game theory, I guess, or go on everything. So I've been overthinking life since I'm a child. Because I constantly am playing the what if game. What if this? What if that? What if this? So I'm always ready for whatever, whether it's personal or a business. So I do the overthinking constantly, but it keeps me calm for some reason. I don't get burnt out by overthinking. I think I get more stressed if I don't overthink.
Okay.
Yeah, I get accused of seeing too many. I think it's a translation really out of Dutch, but from the Dutch. But they accuse me always of seeing too many bears on the trail.
Bears on the trail. This is expression.
Yes.
Yeah. Bears on the trail. So in other words, as opposed to a bit like Stephen, really, as opposed to enjoying each step as I take it and rejoice in the fact that I'm alive and can take the next step. No, I'm looking down the trail and continuously looking out for potentially large brown or black bears or polar bears that could eat me on my journey. Yeah. So that's overthinking.
Yeah.
So it may be a comfort. It may be a comfort for Stephen, but it's a road to disaster for me.
In general, it's a road to disaster to everyone, except from the part that Stephen is saying. But this kind of overthinking that you're talking about is different because it's about planning more. So when you're planning and you don't want, unexpected surprises to you, so you want to get ready. Of course, life is full of surprises. There always something comes up that you were never thought about. And this is probably the beauty of life. But I want to start a little different because let's see what is overthinking in general. What is thinking in general? And as I always do, I put some philosophy into it.
Of course.
And I will talk about that overthinking in general. It's a product of metacognition. And metacognition is the thing that we have, humans. And it means that we know something, we know that we are thinking, for example. The dog does not have, I always give the example of my dog because it's a good analogy for me. She's not overthinking in the way that we do because she doesn't have this metacognition. So what is before? Before is the cognition, and where cognition you can put, I put also consciousness because I think the idealists also think this way. I think that they do also. And what is the difference? The difference is, for example, that right now you're experiencing, both of you and me too, your breath but you're not thinking about it. You don't report it to yourself. It's just a natural process that it's happening, but you're
Until you bring it
experiencing
up.
it.
Until you bring it up, then I start
Yeah,
thinking about it. Thanks a
but
lot.
when I brought it up, you start to think about it. You see, then
Right.
metacognition came into play.
Right,
So you
right.
would
And this
only
is the thing. It's
so
the awareness.
let's expand upon that. Then, so you say that you don't think about breathing, but you would think about the fact that you couldn't breathe, or you stop
Yeah,
breathing.
yeah, because you pay attention to this, and you give awareness to this. So it's a kind of awareness, attention, etc. that we have, humans. And I believe, of course, this kind of metacognition comes in layers that higher intelligent animals, like maybe dolphins, they probably have some kind of form of metacognition, of thinking. Thinking is one of the
Right.
Are dolphins more
properties.
intelligent? Are dolphins more intelligent because they don't have to worry about where they can park their car? Is that sort of the intelligence you're thinking about?
No. It's they're not so complex like we are. We are the most complicated living being on the
Well,
planet.
but are we though? What about octopus? They say octopus have 8 brains, and they have a brain in each
Yeah,
tentacle.
but
They seem like
still,
they may be smarter than we are.
no. How can be? They
I don't know, but they seem pretty
they
smart when you look at the tests
they
do.
can't do art. They don't have
Yes, they can
internet.
do
They
art.
don't have.
Well,
they
they
have
can
internet in
predict.
the ocean.
I mean, they can predict stuff. There's famous octopi, octopuses.
We can predict things also. When Stephen is trying to overthink with his planning, in reality he's trying to, what I said before, he's trying
Predict
to
the future.
find he cannot but the most possible outcomes of something so that he's ready. This is planning. This is good stuff. And that's why he feels okay with that, because I did my stuff. I tried to find every hole in the decision making, or it helps his decisions actually, right? So this but of course,
does it? I mean, people who overthink stuff. Sometimes we go into that famous conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago. Or last week it was with lots of business club. People go into burnout because they're looking at every scenario.
Yeah, it can lead to that. The excessive. There are limits, and every person probably has its own limits, and maybe societies also, and species also, etc. And I'm guessing that Stephen is inside his limits, but there are forms of overthinking that you cannot stop. The thoughts are coming by themselves. If you're worried too much about something, for example, the things are coming, maybe about what you were talking at the beginning. Maybe the thoughts are coming and coming and coming and coming, and you say, oh, come on, stop. I cannot continue like this because it doesn't help me anywhere. I tend to become anxious. You get burnt out.
I've moved on from I can't to I won't.
That's a different way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. That's even better.
So because I've drawn the line for myself, because it's sometimes ideas for me. If I have an idea about something I want to do, something I want to make, or some idea for a show or whatever, it's a bit like, if I close my eyes, it's a bit like watching leaves falling from a tree. And they just keep fluttering down and down and down. And it's not just one leaf, it's, the whole tree falls out. And that can sometimes, bring incredible overload in my brain, because it's just too much stuff. Then you have the same problem as if you had all those leaves in your backyard. You have to go and sweep them up and put them somewhere. So, I think... focus. I'm not very good at focusing then. I don't know. Some people say if you're really focused, you're not particularly creative. I don't know.
That's not really true, I think.
Yeah, I don't agree.
I think everybody's focused and they do things in their own way. Like I'm very focused on whatever I'm doing, but if something comes up and I can still be focused on it and just say do something else that needs to get done, you still everyone's different. Not everybody's gonna Like I have some friends that are just focused on one thing, and if you interrupt them, their whole world is ruined. They can't do anything. They're screwed for the day. I get interrupted all day. So what I've mastered or learned is that it's okay to put project A over here for a minute and deal with whatever this is and deal whatever this is. And then I just go back to whatever I was doing, and it's fine. And you focus on what you're doing at the time you're doing it. So that's what I do.
I think why a lot of people have issues with that, and I use the word issue not as a judgment for how you deal with it, but the fact that some people have difficulty in, once they've put it aside, they can't remember where they put it.
Maybe that's a different story then. Yeah,
and so you get, it's like you start off with one plate on the dinner table. I suppose it's better to look at it as cooking, really. I mean, I'm a terrible cook, but if I do cook things, then I have to have just what I'm doing, but some around me, and that's it. Just that one bowl. The rest I clean up as I go through. But my experience in life, and I might be, just me, but I've had the most fabulous meals I've ever eaten. When you go into the kitchen afterwards and look, it looks like World War III.
Right.
So, but I can't function with that. I was once told when I was working somewhere, they said your desk looks like nobody works there.
That's funny. Okay.
It's so messy, you mean, or it's empty?
No, it's because if I don't have things tidy around me, I got so much chaos in my head.
Chaos.
If I don't have it, if I can't.
So what happens? You thoughts come and go all the time, and you cannot focus on some things.
Yeah,
this is the kind of disease. It's kind of condition that many young people have now. Really, distraction in general. It's this distraction. So it's kind of overthinking, but it's not controlled overthinking, because Stephen was talking about controlled overthinking.
Right.
And that's the difference. And we are actually talking about this issue that you have.
Well, what about social media then? Is that a way of controlling that? Because you're continuously scrolling through social media. You're being rewarded maybe instantly, and then you go on to the next things. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to overthink what you've just seen, because you're immediately offered something else to consume.
Look, you have a point here. I never thought about it. We know more or less what social media is doing, but look, since it's a condition that many people, especially young, have, and social media are towards young people in general, when you are scrolling things, you don't think, you watch, and your thoughts are going a little, very softly about what you're looking, and most of them doesn't need too much of attention. It's not anything too philosophical, deep, or something. It's just silly things that come. So you want to unload your head from things like that, but at the same time, you begin more distracted because you train your mind into many overload of information, because it's an overload of information, right?
But social media is almost like mental masturbation, right? It's 30 seconds of nothing or 10 seconds of nothing. And what we have found
masturbation is very good, because you do it and then you unload and you're okay.
Mental masturbation is not. So what ends up happening on social media, and I know this from our Instagram page, if we put a short out that's say 10 to 20 seconds, whether it's about this show, cigars, or any of our other shows, that's kind of a mindless, stupid short, it gets hundreds of thousands of views. If we put out, like we put out for Lost Dollar Business Club, one that we have a guy that's talking about burnout and how you make yourself mentally and physically better, and you have to actually think about it, and it's a 30-second short, nobody watches it. It gets like 200 views, and that's it. And same on YouTube. The shorts that do good on YouTube are the shorts that are more mental masturbation than they are of somebody actually having to give a thought to what it is. When we put out thought, like this whole weekend, everything we put out was basically you had to give thought to. They got 300 or 400 or 500 views because people don't want to give thought. But if we put out some nonsense crap like we do during the week, it'll get 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 views. And we're like, okay. So so unfortunately, no, people don't think. And I think overthinking is not a problem 90% of this population has.
No,
Because
no,
they're
they
so
have a
conditioned
problem.
to they're 15,
No,
20
no.
seconds attention span.
No, you're saying something different. They don't think in a quality way. Thinking is coming all the time. It's all the time. And I think that social media is bringing thinking, but it's bringing not quality thinking. It's bringing any kind of shit thinking. It's just, you know, you forget it.
That's what I was trying to allude to. You know, it's like if we have this fundamental desire to think about stuff, you know, we're taught from, you know, think about this, think about looking right and left when you cross over the road, you know, think about doing this, think about doing that, and then you have this object, you know, whether it be a smartphone or a tablet or whatever it is that you're looking at. It just enables you not to think. So you're sort of rewarding the fact, there's something happening in my brain, but you just sort of, as Steve said, just okay, I've done that, and I'll do this, and I've done that.
Yeah.
This.
Mm-hmm.
And after 1 hour, you don't remember anything what you've watched because there wasn't anything in a deep sense that.
But what's really important about that, Adam, sorry to interrupt you. What's really important about that is that TikTok and Instagram and Facebook know what you've been looking at for the last hour. That's the important thing.
And Instagram and YouTube, they all do because they use the algorithms. But that's not thinking. That's just Big Brother following you so they can push more crap in front of you. There's a difference
because they
between
give you
thinking and not.
Yeah, you start looking at videos with cats, and before you know it, your whole feed's full of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's and so you're into this must be a good thing to think about. You know, I'm being very
I don't know about that. But I think for stupid people, sure. Listen, I think the internet when it first came out had a potential to be something magnificent. I think
just like
now
AI
with
now.
the internet, right? Well, AI is magnificent because it runs the world, and we're the Illuminati. We know this, but anyway, the problem with the internet is between all the crap that's on there and then all the porn that you can get. People don't use it for anything. I mean, like if you say to people, what do you use it for? There's a handful of people that use it for advertising. They use it for analytics. We find on our side, we use AI now much more than Google, Yahoo, whatever's out there. Like if I want to know something, I actually now will go to the AI and say, okay, I mean, tell me about this. And then I can fact check it, if you will, on the internet. But no one's really using the internet. I think the way that the people that kind of came up with that concept, we can give you all this information. We can do this. We can do that. The way that I think they thought it would be used. I think people now between advertising, stupid searches, I mean, like it's mostly crap. I would say, like, if you take the internet and you say, how much of it has social impact and how much of it is just crap? And then there's a little whatever in between of maybe thinking. So let's just say there's 10% of social impact and thinking and 90% is crap. And I bet those numbers, and it's just my swag, is I'm assuming that was probably correct. I don't think there's a lot of benefit to the internet anymore. I think the internet's just become a place of garbage. Unfortunately.
It's funny. It's funny because I think, 12, 15 years ago, there was a family member who's since passed. He loved his tech and everything, and all of a sudden he just said, "Oh, what's I've heard about this internet. What's that? How can I get onto that?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, I can help you with that." Yep. And he said, "Well, what is it?" And I instantly said, "Oh, it's an intellectual sweet shop." You know, intellectual candy store, and that's how I experienced. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you'd be able to visit, you know, libraries and check facts and books, and that's how it was then." And then all of a sudden,
I think it's still this way. Come on, guys.
You have to double check the facts that you get from the internet because they're wrong. Because any idiot now can post something, and if enough people go,
it depends on the sources. It depends on the sources always.
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't seem to be important anymore. The source.
Yeah.
The fact that it exists on the internet means that it has an element of truth.
Right. That's the problem. People go, oh, it was on the internet. It's true. So we joke around sometimes during a show. We'll say something. We'll go, well, it has to be true. We just said it. It's on the internet. And we know it's total BS. And we laugh because it's 20 years from now or 100 years from now, some
Yeah, but
AI or some person's going to research and go, well, those guys said it's true. It must have been true.
yeah, AI is trained. It's how we train it. But the truth is that everything exists on the internet. You can still find books. I use the internet for crap,
Yes,
but
you
I
can.
also use it for deep conversation that I watch and books I read. I read from the internet. I don't
But it
read
means,
But that goes
Adam,
back to what I said, though,
have,
right?
Yeah, but it
The
means
90-10.
it means you have to step over TikTok, step
Right.
over Facebook, step over
Instagram.
Snapchat, step over Instagram, and all these obstacles are put in front of you. All this crap candy which is put in front of you, and to talk about overthinking. People don't want to think. Oh, I've been thinking all day, so let me just sit and
Yeah. They use
fill
it.
my just for
Especially because all those platforms are different. For example, Facebook has got things also, or links that you can go and search, and they put it might be an interesting article, political, philosophical, anything, artistic, and you can go and take a link, go somewhere. It depends on what kind of profiles you follow, etc. TikTok, for example, is only one thing. They're clips, video clips. It's very easy to get lost there. It's the same like the reels in Instagram or and Twitter is also a little different because it was so they're a little different. I think that the ones that we use the way that you said, David, that I'm thinking all day. I just want to entertain myself, babe, because we usually entertain ourselves with those, right. And we watch it, we unload, but at the same time, our mind is taking information at a very, I mean, a load of information in short time, totally different stuff, because the next clip is totally different from the other, and then the other, you switch topics, subjects all the time, and then your mind is getting used and gets addicted after a time of overload of information, and then it also acts the same way, because then you kind of start to overthink, and then you need also again the reels and TikToks and stuff to unload the thing that you are addicted to. So it's a circle. It's a circle.
But I think the social media companies have been really clever by not allowing you to overthink. Oh, I'm being bombarded with crap candy, and they just say, oh, you like looking at cats? Well, here's another cat. Oh, you enjoyed those 2 cats?
Yeah.
Here's another 5 cats. And when you put your instrument of pleasure, your telephone or your laptop, whatever it is, when you put it away and you pick it up the next day and you go back into that social media account, it'll be cats again and more cats.
Right.
Yeah, so, especially TikTok has got this algorithm. It's a very good algorithm.
Yeah,
it's better than
and that I think is the problem. We talk about overthinking. I think social media is the enemy of overthinking.
It's the enemy, but it also feeds it. It's a circular thing.
But how does it feed it then? How does it feed overthinking? If it continues
the way I said, because your mind gets too much information in a short time, so it's used to a specific form of receiving, things. And then when you leave it, then you start to do the same. It's a system. You learn and you get addicted into a specific form of too much information. It's about too much. When I say overthinking, in my mind, at least, it's too much. Because, for example, you have an issue, right? Let's come back to the main thing outside the social media. You have an issue and you start thinking, but if I did it this way and this way and this, maybe, this is a good idea. But then new ideas come and you forget the good idea that you said that it was a good idea. And finally you do nothing, or maybe you do the last thing that you thought about. It's hard. It's not easy to express it, actually, to describe it. but we all know the feeling, I think. Even I'm not a guy that overthinks too much, to be honest. And look, what is meditation? Actually, meditation is getting out everything, all those overthinkings. Actually, every kind of thinking. In meditation, you try not to think at all.
That's why it's so difficult to do.
Into one thing, into being. You are. That's what it is about. That's what the Buddhists are doing. That's what they say, that they don't have God. They have a state of nirvana. That means that you no longer think. That means what I said at the beginning. You are no longer metacognitive. You are not. You're more like an animal. But even an animal has kind of set of thinking, but probably not the same that we are. We have more complicated. But they also.
Interesting. It's interesting, Adam, isn't it? You were talking about breathing earlier on, that you're not thinking about breathing. One of the cornerstones of meditation is to think about the breathing.
Yeah, but you focus onto the breathing. So after
Only
sometimes you forget even this.
Yeah.
That's what it is about. I've been doing some sessions that were about breathing. You know that breathing you take oxygen. Oxygen is toxic. And it acts like a kind of a narcotic, like a drug. And then your mind
to it. I can't get enough. It keeps coming.
Of breathing. You can't get enough of the air. Yeah. He's addicted to air.
Even though I do live in one of the most polluted areas in Holland, but there you go. A little bit of benzene in the air.
That's what I don't miss in the cities there, and that's the villages are good for.
Well, we live in a rather slightly villagey, like it's not that big, the town we live in, but we're stuck between oil refineries. So
but you're a dense country in general.
Yeah, more dense than Japan.
Yeah. Holland is very dense
and bigger, taller. Yeah.
No, it's not big.
No, I'm being a smartass. I'm talking about people's height. Never mind.
Okay.
So. But no, I think
the Dutch like the Japanese tourists because wherever they go, they can always take a photograph above them. So they don't mind.
By the way, congratulations to the Netherlands team for.
Well, I don't care. Who cares about them?
You don't watch Euro?
No, hell no. No, England won, and we're going to play them
Look,
on Wednesday.
Football is also any kind of entertainment is a way to get away from thinking? From getting away of your problems. I don't know if about overthinking.
No. You think during a football game. Are you kidding? During a football game, you're always thinking as a fan. Any sport. Whether it's basketball, football, baseball,
when you have a problem in your life, you go and watch a movie, you go watch a film, match.
When I have an issue, when I have an issue in my life, no, I don't. Not me. That's for weak people.
I'm not talking about you.
I do totally different. Sacrifice virgins and throw them into a volcano when I have a problem. No, when I have any issues, I like my scotch and cigars, or at least my cigars. I can go and have my 2-hour mini holiday.
When you go into a trap. Like a pitfall, like a trap of thinking about something that might be like overthinking. I don't know.
Okay.
But not the overthinking that you were talking about planning something or like you have an issue. What do you do to unload? To say, oh come on, this is already too much to me. What do you do to get it away from you? What
Scotch and cigars.
And what you drink and you don't think?
Well, no, I mean, I first of all, when I say I have some scotch, I have a little drumming of scotch, and I don't drink like the whole bottle unless it's a special day that ends. Unless it's a special
drink
day
a little for 3 hours.
Unless it's a special day that ends in a Y, and then that's okay. No, I mean, I pour a little bit of a drumming, and people then in the scotch business know what that means. So it's just a taste to get the palate. And then I have a big glass of juice with it. And then I light my cigar and I just sit there for, if the cigar is a 30-minute cigar or if it's a 2-hour cigar, I sit there and enjoy my 30-minute to 2-hour mini holiday. And I just think about whatever I need to think about, clears my mind, gives me a different perspective. And then I'm like, time to go take care of it. And that's it.
So maybe what you're doing is actually you put the focus on and attention towards your senses. I mean, your tongue, the taste.
Yeah.
And
the
you
smell.
see, That's a way of getting away from the pitfall of overthinking
Well,
of something.
Right.
When
Well,
you're
Well,
it's not so much.
people.
I think it chills. How do I put it? What this a cigar is for me. It's not if I'm stressed out or whatever. And I have cigars all the time, so I'm hardly stressed. But if I'm really stressed about something, having a cigar, there's just something about I want to say the old world of the cigar, the smoke, the this, the that. There's just something very soothing about having a cigar. That's it. And that basically just, whether it takes me somewhere or whatever it does, it just chills me out, not stressed, and I can just think through whatever, and that's it. Or I can read or listen to music or just watch the clouds or the dog. Makes no difference. Or if I'm out somewhere, I can just enjoy that moment. And there's just something about it. It's a very calming thing for me. I know other
Yeah.
people, it's a social thing.
I was in vacation. I told you like
Right.
two
A
weeks
couple weeks
ago,
ago.
and
Yeah.
one person was doing the same. He had a cigars,
Yeah.
and I think that because I was thinking about it, I think that you probably associate the cigar with a relaxing time and um, like an act of getting away from all the thinking that is not needed and
Not
focusing on
really.
this. So it has
Back
to
in
do
the
with
day,
sensation. And
we were allowed to smoke cigars in office buildings, and I would have meetings, and I would smoke cigars during my meeting. Back in the good old days, right?
smoke in the airplanes. I
I know,
remember.
I remember that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I was too young to smoke in an airplane. But when we had meetings, and we'd smoke cigars in our meetings. When we went to Russia to go do a deal, they were smoking cigarettes, and we were smoking cigars, and we all learned that you don't stand up when you leave a meeting; you crawl out, or the pollution will kill you. 3-foot smoke cloud. But what I found is they smoke for what they was chain smoking like this, and we were smoking cigars, and I
I'm
realized
doing
that
this.
the nice thing about a cigar is, one, if you ask me a question, I can puff on my cigar a couple for times, and I can, if I want to give thought to it or pretend I'm giving thought to it. And two, it just is just something. Once again, it's relaxing. It puts you in a different state. It's not whether I don't want to say combative, but it's not a combative like it's not a competition. Even in business, everything's competitive, but it's not a competitive state. It's I'm very whatever. We're good. We'll get it figured out. So to me, it's one of those things, for some people who smoke cannabis, right? That's how they get. They smoke cannabis and they're like, oh, cool, dude, I love it. That's nice. For me, it's a cigar. And I can drive my car and smoke a cigar. I can go walk around a city street and have a cigar. I can enjoy my cigar anywhere on the planet, and it puts me in whatever state of mind I want to be in, which is just a very relaxed, chill state.
It's interesting, I think, that Adam was saying, yeah, okay, it is. You have that association with being relaxed.
Right.
That's part of addiction training, because people who are alcoholics, their addiction is first of all about the circumstances which the alcohol brings to them. So it's like it's a fun time, happy time. These are all happy times. So I can't be happy unless I'm drinking alcohol, because
Up to a moment.
Yeah, but I'm happy with it without a cigar, though. And for me, I can go months without a cigar, so I'm not addicted to it. Because people go, "Oh my God, you're addicted!" And there's times when I've been very busy, and I'll be like, I can't remember when I had a cigar last. Now, because we have a cigar show, I know every Wednesday, regardless, I'm having a cigar. But before the cigar show, whether I would smoke 10 a week or I'd smoke 3 or 4, and I wouldn't smoke again for 3 months. It's just sort of one of those things.
No,
It's not an
I am
addiction,
addicted
it's more
to
of a thing.
this. You are not addicted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
nicotine is the most addictive drug.
Yeah, it
But
is.
cigars,
I haven't
but
tasted.
cigars are different because it's a tobacco leaf, and cigarettes are different because it's all the chemicals they put in that you get addicted to. Cigar has nothing for you to be addicted to. It's like rolling a piece of paper and smoking it. It's just a tobacco leaf.
You don't
There's nothing in
inhale the
there.
cigar. You don't inhale the.
No, you
the
don't
smoke.
inhale it. No, you bring
I
the smoke
inhale
into
it.
your mouth, and
I inhale it,
you
so I
push the
take
smoke out.
I take some substance inside.
Yeah. See, in a cigar, you don't. You just enjoy it's the aroma of it. The smoke, and
But
you just
look,
do your thing.
the cigarette.
Mhm.
Actually, because it's got nicotine, it makes you relax. But it works also in the other way. Like for example, here, because I here smoke more than after the show. I don't.
Right.
And I was also thinking about why because we are talking, and it brings me ideas. And when I have a lot of ideas, the same happens when I'm working the arts. When I work artworks, I smoke a lot because I don't think it's kind of, I don't know, associated somehow with something that is going on, something important that you need to bring ideas and
well, Freud would tell us that it's all to do with because you're continuously touching your lips when you're smoking this cigarette. That's also nipple stimulation. That's how you're being the very essence of life that you are taking in from the baby. And so this is
my mom didn't breastfeed me. She just told me she liked me as a friend. So that doesn't do that for me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Well,
that doesn't mean that you were born with a need to maybe your need was not fulfilled. Because
all my needs are fulfilled. That's why I go to Asia. No, I'm just kidding.
There is not a person on the planet that has fulfilled needs.
I have every need. I snap my fingers and my servants.
Then you must have very few needs.
I really don't. I'm very self-sufficient and I don't need anything. And I was raised that way. I was raised that you have to be self-reliant and you don't need things. And that's how I do my life. And I'm okay with that. I don't run around and go, I don't need, how do I put this? I don't need people's approval. I don't care if I have friends. I don't care if someone likes the car I drive. I don't care if they like how I dress. I don't care if they like my watch or don't like my watch. I don't care if they like my hair. I don't care. So I have no need for people to accept me. So because of that, I can, as Frank Sinatra, I do it my way. I can be me. I can say what I want. And if you don't like it, that's okay. And if you never talk to me again, I'm good with that. I mean, like I don't care. That's how I was raised. It's like, you be you. And that's what I tell people. They're like, oh, what do I need? I'm like, just be you. And people look at me like, but I can't.
Okay, then you are because it also has to do with what we were talking about. When you're never disappointed from people, like
people disappoint me constantly, and then the ones that disappoint me, I get rid of. I write them all. I'm done. I'm done. Here's how I look at people.
That's an easy way. That's an easy way to go away.
No, it's not. Here's how I look at people.
Come on, you fight for the people that you care.
No,
because there are people also they make mistakes.
Well, it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah, but that's different. Mistakes are different.
Mistakes are different. And I will mentor somebody. And I used this example the other day on Lost Dollar Business Club. If it takes you 15 hours to figure out how to put a cap on a pen and you don't give up on you, I am there with you every second of everything. The minute you give up on you, then I'm good with that. I mean, like, all right, if you give up, then we're good. I'm not going to keep. I'm very funny about this. And I was the same way as a kid. I try to be with people that are like-minded, that always want to kick in the door, always want to go forward, always want to be better, always want to do something. The people that are like, oh, it's too hard. I can't. That's not. I can't. I will help you if you want, but I can't do that. And so, if someone wants to help, I don't overthink it. I'm like, here's what we need to do. And if they're like, that's too hard, I was like, okay, then you do whatever you want. So I've written off thousands of people. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't need this. Since I'm a kid, this isn't like I became an adult and I'm like, oh, you're a waste of my time. If I was a kid and thought you were a waste of my time, I would write you off. Because it's just like, you're wasting my time. I have things to do and you're not part of it.
It's really difficult because you're in circumstances and you're talking to people and the small talk and everything else. And I have the same as Stephen. And I just think to myself, well, I've just wasted 5 minutes of my life on you and you've brought me nothing.
It's even worse because if you think this way, that means that you're frustrated already.
Yeah, and I don't want to be frustrated. I want to be.
Yeah, of course, nobody wants.
I want to bring something to somebody else, and share what they have what they bring to me. And there are so many. And so I'm not very good. I've been in sales all my life. But I'm rubbish at cocktail parties and that sort of stuff. Small talk. I'm no good at that.
But here's where I don't mind small talk. I don't mind cocktail party. I can do all that crap, right? Because of the field, you do investment. That's what you do. I'm okay with that because I always learn something from somebody. But just because you out of a 1 hour dialogue with someone, I learned this one little bit. That doesn't mean they're going to be my new best friend. It's like, okay, I learned something from you. That's good. Go bye. It's like, so my mentality is much different. It's like, I'm very much an introvert. And people that see me, they're like, no, you're not, you're an extrovert. I go, trust me, I'm an introvert. I only turn the switch on when I have to. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's time to be on. I have to go, I have to do Carney. I have to go do the show. And I don't mean this. I mean, in the real world, I have to press the flesh with people. And when the show is done, I want to go back to my little hole, leave me alone. Or I want to go like, just let me do my thing, right? So my mates, my friends, like you guys, if we go out, different story, I'm in a different thing. But when I have to go do something on my own, or when I have to go to wherever it is for a business trip, and I have to go press the flesh with 1,000 people I don't know, that's a different mentality. And I always look for what I'll learn from, and you learn something from everybody, but that doesn't mean that it's a waste or it is a waste. It's just, I look at them, I'm like, okay, like, I don't look at them as what are you going to bring me? What's the benefit? I mean, because some people, it starts off slow and some it doesn't. It's just, my mindset is very much, if there's no real value in you, then I mean, you're not going to be someone that I sit there and call every day.
Quite brutal how I said it, but it's just afterwards I just reflect. I could have done something else.
Yeah,
I could have, and it's like, I'd much rather watch a documentary than watch a movie because I can learn something from a documentary for that 60 minutes, whereas I was just watching,
Or it depends on the movie, because you can see an action movie or you can see a more drama or something that will make you think a little more.
Or that Alien
it's a choice.
Television series that you watch, that you made me watch. I watched that Alien television series that you were saying, oh, it's great, you got to watch it. So I watched
the Resident,
that. You watched it.
The
Resident Alien. Yeah, I watched that. That was very cute.
No,
so
it was funny. Because it was funny.
Which one?
Resident Alien. It's on Netflix.
Alien. Yeah, because we didn't we didn't plan to watch it, and it hates it. She hates all the sci-fi stuff. So we just was flicking through, and I just was watching a bit of it. And she sat down and she started watching it, and I didn't kind of tell her about what it's about, and then she rolled into it, and I thought, okay, well, that's fair enough.
Okay, but coming back to the topic, I want to say something that Stephen was saying. What you said before, that Stephen, you're a guy that you appreciate more of action than thinking. Like, I mean, okay, thinking, but dynamic. Like you described yourself as a dynamic person that you like to do. And I want to say that overthinking, well, it's why not? And but overthinking makes you be very theoretical, because you don't you are stuck and you don't decide actually to take action, to do something finally. So the balance again, you remember when we were talking many episodes before, and I was saying that the balance is everything, because we need thinking, but we need action as well. But only action without thinking is not good as well, because you're doing stuff without thinking. That means that leads to a lot of mistakes, probably.
Right. But
the balance of it, it's the best, because overthinking and thinking too much doesn't lead you also anywhere. Where does it lead you?
For me, I think playing the what if game, or game theory, whatever they want to call it. We used to call it the what if game. Now we have to put a name on it.
Game theory.
College, you have to make money. They have to they have to charge for credits. We just call it the what if game. So when I play the what if game, I like that, because when I do action, and I don't sit there for 5 years and go, what if this? I mean, like, my what if game takes about a billionth of a second, and I'm like, we have to go do this. Like, I have to remember, I was raised a certain way. I worked in an industry that's the way you do. I don't sit there for 17 years going, what if that? I mean, I play the what if game. My what if game has to be in milliseconds. I don't have the time luxury to sit there and play the what if game for hours.
Yeah, but still, the decision that you make is based on your experience anyway. That means that you have decided that, okay, I will not do too much thinking because I must act. Even if I make a mistake. But if I understand that I make a mistake, I'm focused on this, I will go back and I will change the mistake and go somewhere. Yeah, I'll go somewhere else. So that's the dynamic.
And that's the hypothesis I use, or theory or law, depending on where you want to put it, is that you kick in the door and you always go forward You don't go around the door. You don't go up or down or whatever. You go forward. You kick the door in. You keep going forward. And if you make a mistake, you can fix it. So I always tell people, like we'd have interns or new hires, and I'd be, listen, kick in the door and go forward. If you make a mistake, we can fix it. It's the people who never make a mistake. They've never done anything.
Yeah.
And by making a mistake, we can always make things better.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep telling people, you don't.
There's no
learn
problem
until
with
you make a mistake.
mistakes. There's no problem
Mistakes
with
are fine.
mistakes.
You can fix
Exactly.
a mistake. I mean,
But you
you're in
learn
charge of,
from
like,
mistakes.
nuclear,
You learn.
unless you're in charge of the nuclear weapons and you push the button, that's a different mistake. That's a bad mistake.
That's the final
I mean, like,
mistake.
that's the final mistake. It's like, that wasn't a good choice. But at the end of the day, as long
That's what is
as
not going to
you-
happen.
let's hope not. As long as you kick in the door and go forward, and I'd rather someone come to me, listen, I did X, Y, or Z, and this is what happened, but I think there's an issue. I can deal with that because we can go, what did you do? Okay, we can fix it. We can make the phone call. We can do whatever it is. But if you don't do anything, and people today, I think, are just scared to, I think they're scared of thinking. So there's not a lot of overthinking. And 10%, and there's 10% of the population, I'm sure, that does think. And I'm sure there's a smaller percentage of that do overthinking. I don't think overthinking.
No.
we don't
There
teach
is
the
a
kids
lot of
anymore.
overthinking. There is a lot. It's what I said
Do you think?
before. Yeah. You are saying about something different. You are talking about quality thinking. The overthinking is you cannot even judge your thinking, your thoughts. It's they come and go. So
Right.
that's the
Well,
overthinking. Nothing
But
is left.
that just leads to apathy, isn't it? Because they
That's
just,
why we brought the social media, because this is what happens with social media. You overthink in a way, and you train your mind to overthink. So in a way, we can say that social media in general generates or helps the overthinking in our mind. That this pointless thinking that never ends leads you to nowhere, because it leads you to nowhere. Because if you have too much data, you're left like you don't do anything. You're not dynamic anymore. You're apathetic,
Right.
and you're stuck.
yeah. Well, that sounds like a good ending to this show.
I like it. So we're not going to be stuck.
Yeah.
No, we try not to be, of course.
We'll never be stuck. So, well, this was a good show, guys. I like it. I'm not even going to overthink it. So,
Yeah.
So, guys, don't think about this show too much.
and we want to thank everybody that was
we
watching.
should just encourage
live,
people
especially-
to. Sorry, Stephen. We're just encouraging people to think about subscribing and to think about
There you
joining us again, and that's it.
Don't overthink.
and-
Just subscribe.
Don't overthink. And before we go, though, don't forget you can catch us here live every Monday, rebroadcasting on Tuesday. Catch us wherever you get your podcasts. And we have to say thank you to Dawn, who is with us every single week. I don't think she's missed a show, maybe one. And Dawn always has comments in the section that we rebroadcast.
Maybe we should brought her in one of the shows.
We should have Dawn come
Great.
on. We'll ask Dawn can come on. We'll have Dawn
Yeah,
come on.
sure.
It'll be fun. Sure.
Yeah.
Why
be sure to
not?
come on
She
this
said
one.
she said in one of her comments while we were talking, she said, I'm always thinking even while I'm doing action. And I was about to say everybody does
You
that,
see?
but I wrote excellency.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
everybody
well.
thinks all the time. Yeah, we should
If
have Dawn
Dawn
come
wants
on.
to come on the show, then she can just reach out to us and we'll send her a link, and it'll be a new dawn for us.
Oh my God. There you go. Don't forget to subscribe and like, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday or Tuesday, depending on when you watch the show live or rebroadcast. Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.